The story takes place in a world that has completely fallen apart. Governments have collapsed, cities are broken, and people live in fear. This all happened because of a strange and deadly virus. The virus can infect both men and women, but it has one terrible difference: it only kills women. Across the globe, scientists work nonstop, hoping to create a cure, but the virus is unlike anything they have ever studied before. It doesn't come from animals, plants, or anything on Earth. Instead, it came from a sky in the form of a fine, ghostly ash. This ash appeared suddenly, drifting down through the air like snow but carrying death with it. It settled on the ground, on buildings, on clothes, on everything. It sticks to whatever it touches. If it touches a woman's skin, her life ends soon after. Month after month, more and more women die. The number drops so fast that people fear the human race will not survive for much longer. Governments around the world panic. They make strict rules to protect the few women still alive. They warn that even men who seem healthy might carry the virus and can pass it on to women, sometimes even to neighbors or family members living nearby. Authorities start rounding up women and sending them to special camps, saying it is for their safety. But in reality, these camps are dangerous. They are secret laboratories where women are forced into painful and cruel experiments. The story moves to William's small apartment. At first, it looks like any other normal, plain place in the city. But William is not living there alone. His girlfriend, Eva, also stays with him. She is still alive because William has worked very hard to hide her from the authorities for a long time. In this world, if they find her, she could be taken away and killed. To keep her safe, William follows a strict routine and has made clear rules for Eva. She's not allowed to make phone calls, step outside, or talk to anyone from the outside world. These rules protect her life, but they also make her feel trapped and lonely. Day after day, inside the small rooms, makes her feel like she is locked in a cage. She misses the warm sunlight, the smell of fresh air, and the feeling of walking freely outside. As the days slowly pass, time starts to feel heavy. On the 400th day since the deadly crisis began, Eva finally reaches her breaking point. Without saying a word, she puts on a full hazmat suit, runs up the stairs to the roof, and steps into the open air. William sees her and quickly chases after her. But before he can catch her, Eva suddenly removes the suit and lets the dangerous ash floating in the air touch her skin. She is tired of living a life of hiding and fear. Even if it puts her in danger, she would rather feel the outside world again. William manages to convince her to come back inside, but the damage to their relationship is clear. Something between them has broken. After showering and cleaning herself, Eva uses a swab to test if she has caught the virus. Before they can see the results, the sound of police sirens grows louder. Several cars stop outside their building, and panic sets in. Thinking fast, William hides Eva under the blankets in bed to make it seem like no one else is there. The police search the apartment, saying it belongs to Eva and her best friend Carolyn, who died at the start of the outbreak. William lies, saying Carolyn was his girlfriend and is under quarantine. He tells them Eva disappeared long ago. The police believe him and prepare to leave, but one armed officer notices the swab left on the table. He quietly checks it and sees that Eva is infected. Instead of reporting it, the man chooses to keep the secret. Out of pity, he warns William that their home is no longer safe and tells him to spend whatever time is left with her. Eva, worn down from months of being locked away, agrees it's time to leave. They quickly pack their things and slip out of the city before anyone else finds out. During their journey, they stop at a small convenience store. Eva dresses like a man, so she won't be recognized. She walks quietly through the aisles and picks up some supplies. In this new world where women are almost gone, some items like tampons are ignored and left on the shelves. She takes a few, but the shopkeeper notices her and realizes she is a woman. Shocked, she freezes. William pulls out a gun to scare the man and make sure he stays silent. They leave him on the floor, too afraid to follow them. The scene flashes back to before the disaster began. A news report spoke about a strange comet coming toward Earth. Around this time, William had only recently moved in with Eva. One day, while they were spending a quiet moment together, white flakes started falling from the sky. At first, they thought it might be snow, but it was too warm for winter. Looking closer, they saw it was ash. At that moment, Carolyn, Eva's best friend, came home covered in it. She barely made it inside before collapsing. Back in the present, William and Eva find a motel to spend the night. They notice a group of armed men outside, but decide to ignore them. The next day, Eva says she wants one last proper meal before going into the woods. They stop at a diner, where the television shows news about a scientific breakthrough. Researchers have created an artificial embryo that can survive for a month, and many people believe this could be the first step in rebuilding the human population once a cure is found. The news also announces that the government has raised the reward for finding any surviving American woman to $2 million. The armed men from the motel overhear this and take notice. Suddenly, Eva starts bleeding from her ear, a sign the infection is getting worse. William quickly takes her out of the diner, but their sudden exit catches the attention of a man named Arthur and his teenage son Casey, who realize Eva is really a woman dressed as a man. As William drives away, Eva's condition worsens. Desperate, he explains the stages of the illness to her. Upset and frustrated, Eva jumps out of the vehicle and runs into the nearby woods. After some time, she breaks down and returns to him. Together, they continue toward a hidden waterfall, the peaceful place they have chosen to spend the time they have left together. Another flashback begins, showing what happened just after Carolyn collapsed. William and Eva rushed Carolyn to the hospital as quickly as they could, but doctors declared her dead shortly after she arrived. When William learned that the strange new virus only attacked women, fear hit him immediately. He knew Eva's life was in danger. Acting on instinct, he snuck into a restricted hospital area and stole 2 hazmat suits, determined to shield her from the deadly ash for as long as possible. Using a back exit, they slipped away without being seen. Once home, they called Eva's father, Mahesh, a doctor. His words were heavy. The ash had already claimed more than 1,000 women and brought tragedy even to his own household. He urged them to start strict quarantine right away if they wanted to survive. William took the warning seriously. He rearranged furniture, covered surfaces with sanitary plastic, and added layers of barriers to block contamination. He worked through the night boiling water and, early the next morning, went out to buy large amounts of packaged food. He also installed ultraviolet lights in hidden spots to kill germs within a few feet. Out of fear he might unknowingly pass the virus to her, he even avoided physical closeness. Months passed, and the infection outside spread faster and faster. Then the government launched a plan called Project Embryo, requiring every surviving woman to be tested. Official media called it a hopeful step toward rebuilding the population, but online rumors painted a darker picture. Women taken away and never seen again, with whispers of terrible experiments. William was determined to keep Eva out of their reach. He built a hidden bed space where she could disappear instantly if the authorities arrived. But over time, his protective care hardened into paranoia. He removed more and more of her freedoms, limiting her movement inside their home, taking away phone access, and cutting off all outside contact. Feeling trapped and lonely, Eva began using an underground women's forum. It became her only source of connection with others who understood her struggles. Even as William warned her to stop, she kept visiting, holding on to those conversations as the number of active members slowly dropped, a sign of how few women were left. Back in the present, William and Eva drove for hours, the road empty and endless ahead of them. Eva filled the quiet by taking photos with her camera, capturing moments from what could be their final journey together. At night, they camped by a small fire. Eva, longing to feel close to him again, asked him to help remove the tight binding she wore for her disguise. He helped, but after that, he withdrew to his tent, keeping to himself. The next day, they continued their journey. Eva tried to lift his mood, and after a while, William began to relax. He even taught her how to handle a gun. But not far behind, Arthur and his teenage son Casey, the 2 men from before, were tracking them. They had found a map left at the diner and were following it through the forest. The 2 were armed and motivated by the massive $2 million bounty for capturing a living woman. That night, William and Eva camped again. Their quiet evening turned sudden and frightening when Eva collapsed with violent seizures. William stayed by her side, holding her and making sure she didn't injure herself until the episode passed. By morning, she recovered enough to fetch water from a nearby river. When she returned, she found Arthur and Casey had tied William to a tree. Staying hidden, she backed away before they saw her. Arthur went to hunt her, leaving Casey to guard him. That night, with Arthur asleep, Casey kept watch with a gun. Eva came up with a daring plan. Stepping from the shadows with no clothes on, she stunned Casey into complete distraction. Using that moment, she rushed forward, knocked him out, cut William free, and grabbed her gun. Without hesitation, she went to Arthur's tent and shot him, ending the threat instantly. The story flashes back to the 4th day after the ash first fell. Eva had missed calls from her father and grew worried. She insisted on contacting him. William allowed a video call with the camera and mic off. Mahesh's voice shook as he said the government had taken her elderly mother. Before she could turn on the camera, William ended the call, fearing the risk. Eva was furious and heartbroken. In anger, she told him to leave. Later, she saw a photo of a waterfall on her laptop, a symbol of the freedom she craved. Returning to the present, William and Eva reached that hidden waterfall. It was calm, untouched, and far from chaos. They held each other, cherishing the moment. Eva, pale and weak, took selfies with a faint smile. William kissed her as she grew weaker in his arms. She knew her time was almost over, but instead of fear, she felt peace, comforted by the thought that she had carried her burden with dignity until the very end, and hopeful that William might one day live free again.
Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.